Not all of our minisodes need to be from listeners. In fact, places or lesser-known cases can sometimes take us to dark realms. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the final episode of Dark Realms for Season 21. And a big thank you to our listener Ben for his suggestion for this episode. A place where I hadn't heard of until Ben mentioned it in his email. So I'm sure, hopefully, many of you guys will also be hearing about this for the first time. Now, of course, after our season finale on Friday, we are going to take our standard 2-show break, and then we'll be back on the third Friday, which so happens to be Halloween, which is also, of course, the day the Spanish version of the Dark Paranormal, Oscuridad Paranormal, launches. But the week before Halloween itself, where we usually put out a standard pre-season episode, we will be indeed interviewing Anna, the new host of Oscuridad Paranormal. And let's just say I found out something very interesting about Anna, which will make up probably the entirety of the episode. Now, don't forget, when we have our downtime between seasons, our Patreons still enjoy Dark Paranormal content via the Patreon-only show Dark Bites. It's always at least 30 minutes in length and contains the shorter experiences that we receive from our listeners. And as you guys know, we are giving away a free week at the highest tier of our Patreon for anyone who wishes to give it a try. Just click the link in the show notes, and it could mean that for at least a week, you won't go without your Dark Paranormal fix. But right now, let's step foot into a dark realm that not many people will have heard of. The dark realm of Chislehurst Caves. Located in Bromley on London's outskirts, the caves form a 20-mile labyrinth of man-made tunnels, shrouded in legend and lore. Even in Victorian times, tour guides would eagerly weave tales of Druids and ancient Roman soldiers, Saxon warriors who supposedly used these tunnels long ago. Modern historians note there is no solid evidence for these early exploits. The story of Druids performing human sacrifices underground, for example, is likely a fanciful Victorian invention. Nevertheless, such hearsay has clung to those caves, adding an aura of occult mystery. However, what we do know is fascinating enough. From the 1700s through the 19th century, the caverns were quarried for chalk and flint, which was used in the building of London and igniting old flintlock guns. Throughout the 20th century, the caves wore many hats. They stored munitions during World War I. They served as a subterranean mushroom farm in the 1930s, and most famously became an underground bomb shelter for World War II, housing up to 15,000 civilians nightly during the Blitz. An entire makeshift city developed in those depths, complete with a chapel, infirmary, even a post office. One baby was born in the cave's hospital, a little girl aptly named Kavinia by her parents. In the post-war years, the empty tunnels would host concerts. Everyone from Jimi Hendrix to Led Zeppelin played there. And today, they operate as a tourist attraction by day. Yet, when the lights dim and the last tour exits, Chislehurst Caves take on a much more menacing demeanour. Over decades, visitors and guides have reported unexplained echoes, sudden chills, and spectral sightings. And today, we will dive into 3 of the most terrifying spirits said to lurk in this underground darkness. Each legend blends history with spine-chilling folklore, and each has left witnesses trembling. And so prepare for a journey into the shadows beneath London, where the past never truly rests. The first spirit we will take a look at is known as the White Lady of the Haunted Pool. One of the cave's best-known spectres is the White Lady herself, a ghostly woman in a flowing white dress who is said to rise from an underground pool and glide through the tunnels. According to local legend, This forlorn spirit's origin tale is one of betrayal and murder. Folklorist Neil Arnold says, 2 centuries ago, a woman was said to have been murdered in the caves by her husband, and her body was thrown into the water, weighted down with stones. The pool where her corpse was hidden gained a dire reputation as the haunted pool, and many believe the White Lady is that very woman, unable to rest due to the violence that ended her life. As a grim footnote, the skeleton of a woman was reportedly discovered in the caves in the 1940s, lending a grim credence to this chilling tale. And terrifyingly, unlike the gentle lady in white trope from other areas of the globe, this cave-dwelling revenant is often described as malevolent, her tragedy curdling into vengeful rage. Visitors near the pool have felt an icy dread, even before seeing anything, and tour guides warn never to toss a pebble into the pool, because local superstition says you may stir up whatever lurks beneath. Indeed, the White Lady's haunting prowess is so feared that for many years an infamous challenge offered a reward to anyone brave enough to spend a night alone by the haunted pool. In the 1950s, a brave policeman took up the dare and emerged badly shaken, claiming he'd been menaced by a horrible apparition. He allegedly stated, "Never again," after that harrowing night. Even in group tours, people have caught unsettling glimpses of her. One paranormal blogger on a Halloween tour strayed from the group and spotted a shadowy female figure watching from a dark offshoot tunnel. It was just a shadow, but I could have sworn I saw a light emanate from her. I tried to take a photograph, but the light was not enough to give a clearer image, said the witness. By the time he pointed her out, the figure had vanished into the darkness. Others have snapped photos near the pool only to discover a mysterious mist or silhouette in the image. My husband thinks he can even see a figure without legs. I've no idea what generated the mist, recounts one visitor, baffled by a translucent white fog that appeared on her phone after taking a photograph. Such testimonials, whispered in frightened tones, keep alive the cave's most enduring ghost story. But next, we take a look at the tragic child and the poltergeist children. Let's have a quick break to talk about those wonderful people at Happy Mammoth. You'll have heard me talking previously about Hormone Harmony, the supplement that helps women maintain optimal hormone levels, with over 50,000 glowing reviews from women worldwide, and 98% saying they'd recommend it to friends and family. Well, now you can take those results even further by pairing it with their prebiotic collagen protein, which helps restore gut lining integrity, promoting overall hormonal balance. It helps to relieve occasional bloating or gas, reduce sugar cravings, and help you feel satisfied longer. It helps support healthy, sustainable weight management, boost energy, and help stabilize mood swings. Because your gut directly affects your hormones, improving your gut health can amplify your hormone harmony results, so you can feel like yourself again. A friend of mine was struggling with occasional digestive issues and brain fog, and since adding prebiotic collagen protein, she's noticed a real lift in her energy and overall well-being. Happy Mammoth is dedicated to making women's lives easier, and that means using only science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows. And right now, you can try prebiotic collagen protein and hormone harmony risk-free and get 15% off your entire first order with code DARKParanormal at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code DARKParanormal for 15% off today. Personally, I can find it really hard to focus, and as a non-drinker, I can also find it tricky to try and wind down. And how you go about finding your personal vibe is your individual choice. Do you know there's a 100% American farm-grown online cannabis company that ships federally legal THC direct to your door? And they found a way to combine THC with carefully selected functional ingredients so they can target nearly every mood and health concern you can think of. I'm talking about Mood.com's incredible line of functional gummies. And our listeners get 20% off their first order at Mood.com with the promo code DARKParanormal. Forget one-size-fits-all supplements that just get you high. Mood gummies are optimized so it can take as little as 15 minutes to take you to the mood you desire, like the Mind Magic gummies for creativity and focus, or PMS support to ease cramps and balance mood swings. And there's a plethora of other gummies for you to find your perfect mood. These days we all know gummies just to get high can be bought from just about anywhere, but Mood have changed the game by combining premium federally legal THC with targeted botanicals to help you get in the perfect mood in as little as 15 minutes with no dispensary lines or no awkward conversations, just better days and nights delivered discreetly to your door. Best of all, not only is every mood product backed by a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, as mentioned, our listeners can get 20% off their first order by entering the promo code DARKParanormal. So go to Mood.com and find the functional gummy that matches exactly what you're looking for and let Mood find your perfect mood. And don't forget to enter the promo code DARKParanormal for 20% off. Not all of Chislehurst ghosts are grown. In fact, some of the most unsettling sounds reported in the caves are the soft patter of little footsteps and the faint disembodied giggle of a child echoing through the darkness. Both guides and visitors have long spoken of ghostly children in the tunnels, playful yet poignant spirits who may be tied to the cave's days as a wartime shelter. In particular, one story stands out: the Ghost Girl of 1939. In June 1939, during pre-war renovations, part of the cave complex collapsed. According to cave lore, a young girl, by some accounts around 8 years old, was tragically killed in that cave-in. Her name has been lost to time, but ever since, strange childlike phenomena have been attributed to her lingering spirit. Tour guides say this little ghost girl often makes herself known by mischievous means. Visitors will feel a tiny cold hand slip into theirs, or a tug at their coat, only to turn around and see no one there. Small stones have been thrown by unseen hands, lightly hitting guests from the dark recesses. On several tours, people have heard what sounds like a child skipping or running just out of sight, giggling one moment and crying the next, a disturbing oscillation between playfulness and despair. Some link these sightings to the era when thousands sheltered there during the Blitz. With so many families living underground, emotional energy surely imprinted itself on those caves. There are stories, unconfirmed stories, of sick children who may have died in the hospital section of the cave shelter. Paranormal investigators in the 1980s did record the sound of a child crying in the vicinity of the old infirmary, although they couldn't definitively trace its source. One can only imagine the residual echoes of frightened children from those wartime horrors. Or perhaps the ghost girl of 1939 is not alone, and there are many other little souls wandering with her. Ghost hunters who've left toys as trigger objects have returned to find them moved or even neatly arranged when no one was around. A paranormal team recounted leaving a rubber ball in one tunnel and extinguishing all light, and in the pitch black, they hear that ball bounce 3 times. Then a child's faint laugh, and then silence. You can only imagine the chills those investigators had when they recovered the ball from a completely different area. And lastly, as we like to do here on Dark Realms, we take a look at arguably the darkest of them all, a spirit known only as the demon in the dark. Deeper within the rabbit warren of tunnels, away from the tourist paths, an even more sinister presence is said to lurk. Over the years, paranormal investigators have reported encounters with what can only be described as a demonic entity. A shape-shifting darkness that prowls the caves. Some have described it as a cloaked figure, lurking at the edge of their lamplight, exuding an air of evil, an evil so palpable it stopped many in their tracks. Others swear they see a devilish spectre with cloven hooves, briefly illuminated in their torch's beam. An image straight from a nightmare. And on at least one occasion, cavers came running out after encountering, and I quote, a ferocious-looking wolf-like monster loping in the shadows. A beast with glowing eyes that vanished before their screams died out. It's as if some primordial evil haunts these very corridors, taking whatever frightful form it pleases, part ghost, part beast, all malevolence. Victorian-era lore claimed ancient Druids used one chamber as a temple and conducted human sacrifices in there. Now, whilst historians doubt Druids ever truly worshipped in Chislehurst mines, the idea of a blood sacrifice underground is indeed powerful fuel for ghost stories. And today, guides will still point out a particular altar stone, more likely a miner's workbench, and report how Druid ghosts have been reputedly seen lingering around it. And although historically unlikely, maybe the very telling of these Druidic tales for over 100 years has manifested a thought form, a tulpa, a dark entity born of imagination and fear, now very real to any who cross its path. Perhaps the most terrifying encounter attributed to this dark entity was Halloween 1985. There was an overnight vigil held by one of the guides. However, not everything went to plan. When a sense of pure evil descended upon the group, the guide himself collapsed, needing to be rescued by a health professional. One of the people with them noted that the guide who collapsed wasn't just scared. He appeared violently ill, disoriented, as if possessed, or attacked by an inhuman force. To this day, staff still whisper the caves have a devil in them. And it's no coincidence the reward for staying overnight was withdrawn in 1986. As one author wryly noted, health and safety concerns were the official reason. But in truth, no one wanted to risk summoning the cave's darkest inhabitant ever again. Often overshadowed by more famous haunted sites in the area, Chislehurst Caves remains one of London's most unnerving paranormal locations. Perhaps it's the absolute darkness down there, a black so complete the imagination runs wild. Perhaps it's the weight of history, layer upon layer of human toil, trauma and hurt mixed with legend all carved into the earth. Or perhaps some places are just closer to the spirit world than others. In these caves, the line between the past and present blurs, and those attuned to the supernatural swear that something still dwells under Old Hill, waiting in the endless night in this dark realm. A big thank you to each and every one of you for joining me and stepping foot into these dark realms throughout Season 21. I cannot wait to explore more with you in Season 22, and if you have your own suggestion for a dark realm, the lesser known the better, then email me, contact@thedarkparanormal.com, and maybe next season we will step foot into the dark realm suggested by you. But until then, stay safe and take care.